Cinema Worms.
Discussing everything from Grima Wormtongue to the Shy Halud.
I'm Zabib,
And I'm Linz.
and this is Cinema Worms podcast. Will Reeve, an ABC News correspondent and son of the Superman Christopher Reeve, cameos in the Superman of 2025 as a reporter.
Superman is one of those franchises, like Batman, that feels as if it is eternally in a state of boot, as in it is about to be rebooted, it's currently being rebooted, it has been booted and rebooted to death in every format. This latest version is written and directed by James Gunn, who's become one of Hollywood's top go-to guys for big superhero films. And his filmography includes some horror, like 2019's Brightburn and 2016's The Belko Experiment, as well as more family-friendly films like the 2002 live-action Scooby-Doo, a fact that he should talk more about and be more proud of.
Deep cut.
As well as the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. Now, this new Superman film features David Corenswet of House of Cards / The Politician fame as bespectacled journalist Clark Kent and his caped, square-jawed alter ego Superman. Rachel Brosnahan, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, because I've never watched any of her shows, who is probably best known for her performance as the titular character in the TV show The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. She plays his love interest Lois Lane, and Nicholas Hoult puts in a turn as Lex Luthor, Superman's mortal nemesis. Now, I think the last time that I saw a Superman film was possibly Superman vs. Batman, which nearly put me off both franchises for life. So I was reticent to sit through yet another one, but actually this was okay.
I have not seen Batman versus Superman.
Please don't ever do that to yourself. In fact, if somebody offers you Batman versus Superman at a party, you call me, okay? I'm not gonna be mad. I will come and get you. Like, just, I know that
Just
it's...
walk away.
Just walk away. It's not worth it. I know the youth are all into experimentation with Batman vs. Superman, but it's really dangerous for your mental health.
I heard it was dangerous for Jesse Eisenberg's mental health as well.
I mean, if the order and command that he had been given as an actor was, can you play Lex Luthor like one of his parents was Mickey Mouse, then I understand that he pulled it off perfectly, but otherwise no.
Oh, Jesse.
Jesse, that was not a good film for you. Okay, so basically the premise of Superman. It skips over the fact that, he grew up on a farm, he's Kal-El, he's an alien from another, universe. He's Clark Kent, big reveal to Lois Lane, etc. We've seen all that stuff far too many times. So here we just begin with journalist Clark Kent, who has been giving himself exciting private interviews as Superman, which is, fun because they're the same person. And he has been going out with Lois Lane for 3 months. She already knows his secret. She has some ethical qualms about what he does and how he does it, which starts to strain their relationship. That is kind of a side note in this, but it is linked to the big political problem of the day, which is that the country of Baravia has been trying to invade the neighbouring country of Jaranpur. The last time they tried to do that, Superman went there and told them basically to sod off home, thinking that he was protecting people and doing a good job, and that's what his parents want for him, is to be Earth's protector and to stop, people bullying each other. Nicholas Hoult, who's playing Lex Luthor here, clearly having a lot of fun with this role, is a sort of tech bro / arms dealer who supplies Baravia with weapons, and thus would actually quite like this war to happen for various reasons.
I think we had different takes on this film. I absolutely loved it. I loved it so much that you'll probably be offended by how much I love it.
Well, I think it's worth pointing out here that when I looked at the gradings of the reviews, there is a clear and noticeable difference in the way that the UK reviews are and the US. The US ones are all really into it and glowing. The UK ones are quite meh, and I think we fell along those lines culturally, and I think that's quite interesting.
I will have you know, I have not seen the Mark Kermode reviews, which we watched together now.
Yes.
But I think he liked it, and I don't know if he would ever truly super love a superhero movie, but I just heard
He did not.
liked
Maybe
it.
he did not super love Superman.
No, he
Hashtag
super liked it.
Superman.
Super super shit. That was a funny joke. Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I wasn't looking forward to seeing it, but it's not like I'm a James Gunn fangirl, but I really liked what he did here. It's just really refreshing to see a film that is a superhero film that's not bloated, in my opinion. I thought it was really confident and had a clear vision of what it wanted to be. And the fact that he wrote and directed it means it just had a real consistency to it. And that was very comic book inspired, just from the vibe and clearly from the way it honored Superman in this. It's like traditional, but also really modern, and full of fun and righteousness also. So I thought it was just really excellently paced from the beginning. Just, it's like, it's written in, I'm not saying that this writing is so innovative that it'll blow your mind, but it's really fun and precise, in my opinion, in terms of like they decide to just start it off. It's really straightforward, but also fun, hilarious at times. Yeah.
I disagree. I don't think it was a bad film. I thought it was perfectly okay. I'm in no hurry to ever see it again. The problems that I have with it are the dialogue is sometimes just straight out, like, I had to stifle laughter several times. There were several examples of particularly egregious stuff. Sometimes it's a bit cheesy. Maybe that's like, again, that's a kind of a cultural thing. It's also, it felt hard to enjoy because it felt like it was reflecting a real life situation, and I could not help but be reminded by that, and I couldn't get sucked into it because of that. There were some interesting, like, discussions going on. There was, the metahumans of the quote Justice Gang, may not be their final name, which was kind of fun as well. But a superhero film, I think these days, I don't know if you can have your cake and eat it too. I don't know if you can have, like, the difference between something really, really gritty and, like, say, Thunderbolts, that's like not taking itself seriously at all. Yeah, it was fine. It was fine for me. I liked it. There was a couple of things that I genuinely laughed at because they were funny. A couple of things that I sort of cringed at. It was okay. It was a C for me, which reflects accurately all of the UK reviews and newspapers. And yeah, I'm surprised that we follow along such different cultural lines, but there is. But can I shout out some people who were fantastic in this? Shout out to Nathan Fillion's haircut, which was appalling. Shout out to Skylar Gisondo from Booksmart. I love this kid. He is great in everything. He plays Jimmy Olsen. He's absolutely fantastic. And Beck Bennett from SNL playing a stuffed shirt type at the Daily Planet with a great throwaway line about his cat that is so easily missed, but like every time he's on screen, please pay attention to what he's saying. He's very, very funny.
Absolutely funny. And a few things I'd like to shout out. Yeah, that it leans into this, like, a certain wholesomeness, maybe from the comics and just from a particular tonal choice they wanted to make that I think works. And you see that in David Corenswet's performance of Superman, where he has this physicality for it, the charm and sincerity, which is also combined with like a slight cluelessness. And I really enjoyed Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. And I was realizing, oh yeah, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. So that's hence why she has that sort of vibrant, strong-minded character that is charismatic enough that she just like had that same quality in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, where it's really nice to see a woman be the object of desire in a way where she's like cool, like, but she's
cool. She has agency.
Not too cool.
Yeah, she's like when things happen in the plot, she's like, well, we should go and do something about that, even though she has no powers.
Yes.
She's just like a regular human person, but she is willing to ask some hard questions here, and she's not like, oh no, this, like, asking these hard questions of my actual superhero boyfriend that's making him pretty annoyed, like, I should stop doing it. She's like, well, I'm asking them because they're the right questions to ask. She has
a brain.
Even if, like, this kind of hurts our relationship, I'm not going to not ask those, because she's a journalist first and a love interest second, which is what I liked. It actually made me want to watch The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which I've never seen it.
I've seen a couple seasons. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good. Like, she kind of brings that, like, zippiness and just, like, strong-mindedness to it. What else? I think the politics is interesting. We were talking about this because I was like, oh, the undertone, and you're like, basically overtone. But I think it does this hilariously smart thing of somehow being very on the nose and progressive in its politics while also having deniability as well.
Yeah, I mean, I know that they made some casting changes because of things that were happening in the real world. Like, specifically, they recast the president of Moravia. No, they just made him look like Einstein, which was slightly confusing to me, but yeah, sure. That was a particular look. Yeah, it was, interesting. I feel like maybe that's kind of the crux of why is what you just said about Superman being, you know, slightly naive and sort of, but at the same time, like, wanting to do good. But I feel like that's such a kind of thing that we see pushed in American films, is this character who, you know, maybe he's a little gullible because he just thinks that there should be good in the world and he's just trying to do it, and everyone's like, no, you should think, and he's like, I don't want to think, I just want to fight. Like, that's how it feels. It's very like, no, but you should think some of the time, dear God, man. Like, the things that you do have ethical implications, they have political implications. You are so overpowered that you are literally a threat to everything. Like, how, like, just because you think this is right, and I agree with you that he did make the right call in stopping one country from, like, invading another, but that is not a decision for one person to make.
Which is the whole, apparently it's a 12-minute dialogue scene towards the beginning of the film between him and Lois Lane. Yeah, which is, but you know what, final point.
I am on Lois's, like, that's why I liked that so much in that character, because she really lays it out quite clearly, and he just does not get it. And I feel like, even by the end of the film, I feel like he still does not get it.
Yeah, no, I think he's pretty much still believes what he believes.
Yeah, he believes that he's there to do good, and whatever he decides is good, and that's kind of frightening.
He does get his ass kicked a lot, though, which makes
makes
it's
him
important
double down
for the tension and the stakes.
No, true.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does sort of double down on the, like, yay, I was doing good all along. Were you though? Anyway, we all believe we were doing good in our own ways. We're all the main character.
We'd love to hear from everyone else who's seen Superman, so please comment. Let us know your thoughts. I'm very curious. Friendship is a new Black comedy written and directed by Andrew D. Young in his directorial debut. I believe he's written for television before. And it features the comedian Tim Robinson as Craig Waterman. Hilarious names in this film. Kate Mara as his wife Tammy. Jack Dylan Grazer as his son Stephen. And Paul Rudd as the new neighbor, Austin Carmichael. So in Friendship, we follow Craig, who is this 40-something, very socially awkward, odd, and self-involved, clueless guy. He lives with his wife and son, and they sort of just, they seem tolerating of him, but also eternally disappointed and slightly annoyed by him. He works as this marketing exec who makes apps more addictive. And a new neighbor moves in across the street. The cool, carefree, charismatic Austin. So Austin is both this exciting, interesting new presence in Craig's life, but almost a parody of the too cool middle-aged guy who likes to go on adventures, smoke pot, wander into sewer pipes, play in a rock band, and he's also a weatherman. So Craig meets Austin when he repeatedly gets packages sent to his house that are meant for Austin, so he has to take them over. So this is how they meet in the beginning of the film. And Austin seems to find Craig very amusing and harmless. So they start to form this, it's an immediately sort of intense yet superficial bond. So you realize immediately that Craig is idealizing Austin. He thinks he's so cool. He thinks Austin and him will be best friends, and that Austin kind of represents this gateway to a better life, right? Because he has this cool new friend, that means he can also, Craig, be cooler, more fulfilled, and imbued with something special and powerful, which is so what he craves, as you realize he's actually very fragile and lonely. And Austin sort of does this version of friendship love bombing. He doesn't actually take Craig that seriously, but he seems initially happy to shower him with attention because here's someone who just kind of worships and affirms him. And also, he seems kind of bored and wants to, ingratiate himself in the neighborhood. However, Craig's odd, intrusive, and socially clueless tendencies start to push Austin away, and from there, the rest of the film unfolds as this budding friendship unravels along with Craig's life. Now, what really struck me about this film, and unfortunately, Linz wasn't feeling so well, so she couldn't see it, but she will. And I'm excited to hear her thoughts. But what struck me about this film from the very beginning is tone, because it has this very distinctive, vibrant, and uncomfortable tone where it strikes this balance between dark humor and zaniness. So it's like particular kind of dark comedy and satire. So, the socially awkward, cringy humor also combined with like slapstick moments of imaginative, complete absurdities, characters who are delusional, and also an underlying sense of menace. So throughout, we're like laughing out loud while feeling vaguely threatened. The humor is brutal. So Tim Robinson is very just spot on as the character of Craig, playing him as totally unaware and like quietly unhinged. He's this like doddering fool that reveals himself over the course of the film to be more and more like delusional and selfish, even more so than we initially thought. And, this slow unraveling into the darker depths of his mind is increasingly funny and also increasingly unnerving. Kate Mara's Tammy and also Paul Rudd's Austin are really interesting foils or, comparisons to Craig, right? Because they're also a bit self-involved and ridiculous at times and like satires of themselves, but they reveal themselves in layers as well throughout the film to have their own insecurities or desires. And it's just interesting to see how they respond to Craig and are just put off by him. And I glanced at a few reviews, but I didn't really fully read them after I wrote the notes for this. And they seem to think that Kate Mara's Tammy was underdeveloped, especially as the only female character. I mean, I disagree. I think that Craig and Austin are the main like duo of the film, but the way she plays Tammy is really interesting. I think she actually brings quite a lot to this character. She just quietly observant and reserved, but there's this like simmering, almost like rage underneath that. And I just think that the visuals and this like the cinematography, the score are really interesting, right? Because you have just absolute absurdity of the film and sometimes even like these fantastical daydream sequences, but then the shabbiness of this neighborhood. Well, it seems shabby to me, right? It's just like this blah suburban neighborhood. And Craig always walking around in his just absolutely ugly tan puffy coat at all times. It just has this sort of grounded visual look while also having this enveloping dramatic score, which gives a sense of being in this fever dream at times. So this is a film that maneuvers between the ridiculous, the cringy, the disturbing, and it just sort of reflects the selfishness and dissatisfaction of one man in a very funny way. Whether or not you like it, I think will depend on, at times, like if you can handle the cringiness and the just seeing a character repeatedly just do the wrong thing, and if you can find the satire and humor in that, then you will really enjoy this. People were laughing out loud in the screening. One note, I love Jack Dylan Grazer. He's so young, but he's consistently so hilarious and brings such a sharp energy to his performances. So I want to recommend seeing We Are Who We Are, which was a miniseries that came out in 2020 by Luca Guadagnino. And he was the star, Jack Dylan Grazer, of this show. So I don't think most people saw it, but he's really great in that. So I recommend it on HBO. I wish he could have been in this film a bit more, but he was funny as the son. So I found myself completely engrossed, horrified, and very amused by this film. I still almost don't know what to make of it. I'd love to hear your thoughts.